Have you heard about Ancestry.com's brand new tool, Networks? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what it is and how to use it as part of your genealogy research. Hey there, if we haven't met before, I'm Lisa with Are You My Cousin, and this YouTube channel is designed to help you find your ancestors, grow your family tree, but not be overwhelmed in the process. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, you're in the right place. All right, so let's talk about this new tool called Networks. What is it, and how can it help you as a genealogy researcher, and me too, find my ancestors and continue to grow our family trees? The Networks tool at Ancestry allows us to identify and incorporate into our research individuals that were important to our ancestors, but not necessarily part of the immediate family. So traditional genealogy research, we tend to think in direct family lines. So we tend to think of blood relatives. We think of parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and so forth. But the reality is our ancestors did not live in a bubble. They were not isolated, typically. And the Networks tool allow us to recognize that. It allows us to find those individuals who were part of our ancestors' life, perhaps impacting how they made choices, how they moved around. And then we can use that information to continue our research and perhaps break through some of those brick walls. Now guys, this is not really a brand new concept as far as pure genealogy research is concerned. If this sounds like the fan principle to you, the friends, the associates, and the neighbors principle that Elizabeth Shown Mills has mentioned it over the years, you're absolutely right. But what Networks does is it allows us to capture the information in a more organized manner so that we can work with it and be able to understand how our ancestors, friends, associates, and neighbors actually impacted their lives. I've been excited to try this Networks tool out because I've actually been doing fan research and this type of research for a lot of years. In fact, really tracked those individuals who were not direct descendants or who were outside of my ancestors' immediate family. I've been tracking them on spreadsheets for years. I have my own little system that I developed through the years of genealogy research, and it actually has worked well for me. But I'm actually really excited now to be able to put it into one of the programs, such as Networks, to see how it can help me maybe better organize or perhaps view my ancestors a little bit different. It's also giving me some ideas of networks and ideas of new research theories that I potentially could use on some other brick wall ancestors that I have. Because like you, I'm always excited to be able to find new theories and perhaps get a new viewpoint to look at my research in a different light so that I can then continue to build on that. Now, if you have perchance heard about Ancestry's new tool, this Networks tool, be sure and let me know in the comments and let me know if you've actually experimented with it and what your experience has been with that. Now I'm going to turn my camera around. Well, let's head over to Ancestry.com and I'll show you what Networks is all about. All right, so we are over here at Ancestry.com and I'm going to show you how to find and access the new Networks tool that they have here. Now to access the Networks tool, you actually go over here onto the right sideboard and you will see the Networks tab right here that you can click. Now, two things you probably noticed. This is part of their Pro Tools subscription, so you do need to have that level of a subscription to access Networks. And you will also notice that it is in beta. So sometimes what that means is that things may get a little quirky, but they will smooth that stuff out over time. And really, I've never had an issue with it. So just wanted to point that out to you. So to access those networks, we're going to actually just click right into the Networks homepage here. And you can see I have a few networks set up here that I have been experimenting with. You can also access the networks from an ancestor's profile here at Ancestry. Let me take you real quickly over and show you what that looks like. Here's the ancestor we're going to take a peek at today. His name is Jesse Haley. I'm going to click into his profile page. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom on the right hand side, you will see that networks section that you can click into, and you would just click into that to access his network. Okay, so we're back over here at the Networks homepage, so to speak, and I wanted to show you really quickly how to set up a network. They're really easy to do. You just click the button, create a network, and it's going to give you some options that you can do. They've given you some suggestions to help you build a network. So you've got family and life milestones, immigration, shared experiences, local community and chosen family, religion, school and work, enslavement, atrocity and displacement, military, sports and entertainment, a burial place, and then of course you can make something else if you want to. And something else, what if one of these doesn't match your needs, not a problem, you can continue to make that differently. Let's choose local community, click next, and then we just need to name it, Jessie Haley, and I'm going to put test here. Oh, okay, it won't let me put a character here, but we'll put test. And then I could set up a topic and just say a description would be to find, let's go, to learn more about Jessie Haley of Halifax County, Virginia in 1800s and his parents. And click continue. I'm going to connect it to a tree. So it'll ask you to connect it to a tree, which I did, and explore the network. Okay, so his network is ready. I can click on that, and we're ready to look at his network. Now, I actually already have created one that I'm going to take you over and show you. That's already one that's been partially completed so that you can see what it looks like. This is the one that we're going to take a peek at. This is my main one here that we're going to hit view the network. And this is Jessie Haley in Halifax County, Virginia, the 1800s. And there are a few things you can notice probably right away. First of all, you can see I've actually added a few tags here. So it does tell me that it's under the local community and chosen family tag. I tagged it as neighborhood as well as friends and fictive kin. So I have these tags up here. I can know immediately who I'm looking at and what it is, what types of information I need to find out about him. You can add your tags right here. Easy to do. Coming on down, you can see I've already added some people to the network, and you can do this really easily. So if you take a moment to look at this, this is Jessie Haley. So he's the main character here that I am researching. And I have noticed in my research through records, through census records, through courthouse research, a number of different avenues of research, that there are some people who continually show up close to him, who they are and exactly what the relationship is, if there actually is a relationship. And so I added them to his network. These are people who are around him. These are, again, his fan club, his friends, associates, and neighbors. These are the people I'm looking at. So you can see I have Sterling Haley, Mary Haley, William Haley, Mary Estes, and Fleming Owen. I can actually use this tag right here to actually search Ancestry for records on these individuals, to perhaps learn a little bit more about each of them and document the information they have for them. Coming on down, I can add a person to the network. It's really easy to do, guys. You just click add a person, and you have a couple options. You can choose someone from the tree. So maybe I already have somebody in the tree and I need to know a little bit more about him. So in this case, let's put in Fleming's name, Fleming Owen, and you see I have Fleming is already in my tree, and I could click save, and that would add him to the network. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out because he's already in my network at the top. But if it's somebody that's not already in my tree, I can click that as well, and then I would just type in his name. I would just click it in there, put in my information, and then click save. Now this person is added to the tree, so they're added to my Are You My Cousin tree, but they are actually an unattached person. In other words, they are not attached to anybody or any family unit in my family tree. In fact, for my own personal research, I actually tagged those in my regular family tree as unattached. Makes them easier for me to see. Now I am going to go ahead and cancel this because Fleming is already part of our network here, but that would certainly have easy breezy to be able to add people to the tree. You can add media. So if I had media to upload, if I had photographs or any kind of media I wanted to add, I could absolutely do that if I had a document that maybe was a JPEG as opposed to a regular document. I can also add records and relevant information here. I was particularly interested in Sterling Haley and his relationship and how he interacts with Jessie. And so I have several of his pieces of information, his records and documentation that are there. Here's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, guys, and it's called the stickies. This is where you organize details. This is where you organize some of the research, and you use it, but you do it through these stickies. Think about those yellow stickies that we have in our home office. I have plenty because I love them, and that's really how this functions, and that's what they're like. So you can actually create a sticky. Simply hit create, go over and type in a test. So let's do Jesse Haley research plan. We'll just make this a test because I already have one. And I can go in here and I can type whatever it is I need. You know, I can hyperlink it through here. So if I find something, I'm like, and maybe I find, you know, this is a good article on Halifax County in the 1800s. And I could actually go in there and then I could hyperlink it. I could add the link there and save, and we would be good to go. So I can add a list. Coming on down, you can add a date. Maybe you're talking about a particular document, you want to add a date to that, a location. You can actually add a status. So you can choose one of these tags. Maybe it's something that a project or that you've completed. Maybe it's actually a to-do list and you're just simply writing a to-do list for what's next, 1, 2, 3 type thing. A very simplified research plan. You can absolutely do that. You can write up your hypothesis if you have an idea about a theory you want to try, and then you can simply save the sticky and it gets added to your stickies. Now let me show you what one actually does look like. This is actually one I did a research plan, and this is really kind of a modified research plan. It's some old notes that I took from a while back that I decided to put in here to take another stab at looking for Jesse here. And so I simply created a very simple and simplified research plan for him. I put in here the information I already knew. It just keeps me from having to look back. My goal, to find his parents, and I put down particularly what is really already known about him. So this was this particular time period of his life I was looking at. So I put down all the information that I knew, and again, dealing with those other Haleys that are already in his network, and I wrote that down. And then I came down and said, okay, that's sort of my thought process. So what is it I need to do next? And so I actually did. I said, okay, I need to research Sterling, Polly, Mary, and William Haley. I needed to know a little bit more about them, each of those individuals, and I'm going to start with the tax records based on some information I already had. So then I moved on to areas of research. What is it I need to do? I kind of know what I needed to look at, and I understand about a particular time period for Jesse's life. What else do I need to know about this particular time period of life? What else could tell me more information for an earlier part? And one of them being tax records that I really wanted to look at based on some other information I had pulled in, as well as land records. So I made just a very simplified, modified research plan that I need to take a look at and start working on to move the needle forward for this individual. So you can make all of these different types of plans. I didn't really feel the need to put a date on this one or a location, although I could say put the location as Halifax. But pretty much this project does take place in just that area. And I am actively researching this particular issue, so we are saving his sticky. Now coming down, what we see here, this is another really nice feature. And this is the network mapper. So it takes the individuals that you've added to your network, based on the information you've added about those people, say birthplace, death place, migration type things, it will put them on this map. Now what I like about this is it is a visual representation, particularly if you're tracking ancestors and working with ancestors who are moving around a lot, or who may be moving, arriving in America, maybe moving across the country. For me and this particular ancestor, all of the events taking place that I was really researching happened in this, in Halifax County, Virginia. So what I'm looking at really is taking place there. So it's not really mapping them out other places at this point, but it is a really nice feature to be able to see that information displayed visually. And there you have it. That's what the Ancestry.com tool looks like. And it is an opportunity for us as researchers to really be able to maybe take a different viewpoint of our ancestors, organize that research to incorporate that network, incorporate those individuals around our ancestors outside of the immediate family, and start to understand how they impact our research. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful to start to see what this whole new Ancestry.com Networks tool is and how it can help you with your research. So if you'd like to learn more about finding your ancestors and breaking down some of those brick walls, be sure and watch the next video on your screen now.